are some wild games, I can say that. So with that being said, we have some power teams here. Is there anybody that you see that these teams should look out for?
I'm going to stick to what I said before. UCLA is incredible. They're just a good basketball team, and they have the two best road wins, to me, of any other basketball team in the country. They went down to that school in Tucson and beat them. Then they also went out to Kentucky and beat Kentucky at Kentucky. Those are just two big wins. You just don't do that. And Lonzo Ball, people are so focused on what his dad is saying. That kid can play. I mean, he can just flat out go. So it's a different situation in the West because Oregon is good. Like I said, the team in Tucson, they're really good. But if I had to pick a team that I would say that has the best opportunity to beat a top team, I'm still going to stick with Creighton as the first team that I think could do that. And then I'm going to stick with Butler as I think the next team to do that. People treat Butler like, they're just Butler. They're not. Butler beat Villanova twice, and Villanova is the number 2 team in the country, but then they turn around and they lose to Creighton. So those are the two teams that out of the teams that, you would say, well, I'm not going to say, or I don't know who would upset who. I just think those two teams are the teams that I would not want to play if I'm a top-rated team. I don't want to see them coming. I don't want to see them anywhere near me because they have that opportunity. They have the players that play so well together that they just will give you all kinds of fits. So that's who I'm sticking with. They do projected deals, but then teams lose. Like, St. Mary ended up losing to Gonzaga, and Gonzaga is pretty much going to hold on to that number 1 seed unless something just crazy happens. But, according to the 4-letter in the South, where they're saying North Carolina, if they went out, will be a number 1 seed. That's the region that Creighton is in. Now they're going to look out because Creighton is in what they're saying would be the lower region if this all shook down. But if you're Kentucky, do you really want to see Creighton coming at you? That's not something you want. If you're North Carolina, if West Virginia is in that region, do you want to see West Virginia? Creighton is looking at like a number 7 seed, but they're good. So it's really more of a wow. I can't believe when they announce these brackets Sunday night. You better believe I'm going to be glued to the TV. I'm working the Suns game, but I'm really hoping those are out before tip-off because I do not want to miss that.
You would lose it. I know that. You would lose it.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Big time.
But I do agree with you, too, with those two teams that you just mentioned because when I did see those games with Villanova, when they came at them, like you said, you do not see them coming, and I really can honestly say I did not see them coming, and I really didn't give them enough credit. So I do have to say that you're totally right because they are a threat to these teams, these other, power teams here, Villanova, Gonzaga. So, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised.
You just never know. I mean, they're projecting UCLA as a 3 seed. They're predicting. I mean, UCLA is absolutely incredible. They may be a 3 seed. If you are, stop and think about it just for 1 second. If you're a number 1 team, you really want UCLA as the 3rd seed. If that's the case, That's the team you want as a third seed sitting in your – they're the third – here's how crazy it is. They're the third-ranked team in the country, and bracketology has them picked as a possible 3 seed. That means you don't want – I mean, how is that even possible? As a 3 seed, the team is 28-3 with wins over Kentucky and Tucson on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. So, and you're not going to put UCLA. Okay, just think about this for a second. You had 3 teams from the Pac-12 in the top 10. Okay, so they're not going to put them in the same bracket. More than likely, there's no way they're putting them in the same bracket.
No way.
And so they're all going to be
way.
Exactly. So they're all going to be seeded more than likely 2 or 3, because as of right now, if Kansas wins, they're a 1 seed. If Villanova wins, they're a 1 seed. Gonzaga's a 1 seed. So now they're saying North Carolina may be a 1 seed, but if UCLA wins the Pac-12 and they get through Oregon and U of A, you know they're going to be a 1. So you're not going to put Oregon and Tucson in the same bracket with them. You really want to be in a bracket with Oregon because they're going to be a 2 or a 3. Tucson's going to be a 2 or a 3. UCLA is going to be a 2 or a 3. You don't want to go through those 3 teams in any bracket, any way it falls. So this is the toughest year for every team because there's not 1 or 2 clear-cut favorite teams. Every year there's 1 or 2 teams that you just say, you know what, you fill out your bracket, and you know that if you took Kentucky, you have a great chance. If you took Duke, then you have a great chance. There's always a couple people that take someone, that you don't know. Well, Villanova can win it. Kansas can win it. UCLA can win it.
North Carolina
can win it. Kentucky can win it. Louisville can win it. And then you say, okay, fine, I'll get rid of that's fine. But then you say, well, SMU, they may not be good enough to win the whole thing, but SMU is good enough to beat, North Carolina. They're good enough to beat Oregon. Maybe they can't stack 2 or 3 wins together like that, but they could stack in a couple to beat you. And then you have Duke as like the 14th, 15th seed in the country. So they're going to end up like a 3 or 4 seed. Do you want Duke? If you're the number 1 seed in the region, you want Duke as the number 4? There's no way. So this is nuts. This is why this tournament, I honestly believe, has a shot at being the best tournament in terms of entertainment, in terms of teams upsetting teams that we've seen in a long time. I mean, St. Mary's can't beat Gonzaga, but St. Mary's beats everyone else. They've lost 3 times all year to Gonzaga. They're 27-3. Every loss they've had has been to Gonzaga.
Every loss.
Oh, I take that back. 2 out of the 3 losses have been to Gonzaga.
But I do have to say, those games have been amazing, and they've come close to beating them. Yesterday, I was glued to my TV. And I really
but remember,
thought
they had to
going to come back.
But the whole point was they expended so much energy trying to come back. They didn't have enough. And you could also then say, well, Gonzaga, you get a big lead. Sometimes you get a little lazy. So they still haven't really controlled them. So you just look. I mean, hell, Wichita State is 30-4.
Jeez.
I mean, there's so many incredible teams. Cincinnati, 27-4. Florida State in the ACC, big wins. Florida in the SEC, big wins. Butler, we just said they've knocked off the number 2 team in the country twice, and they're still 23-7. They still balling. Virginia can't even score, but they can defend. So it's too much going on out there for us to say, well, this is just one team that can possibly win, because on any day, anyone can beat anyone. So this is what we've been waiting for. Oh, that's a song. But this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with my brackets because just like you mentioned, I'm looking at these 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds, and I don't know what to do. So I am going to lose it. And it's gonna be an amazing tournament. It's gonna be Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of surprises, I guess. I can say that.
Yeah, I'm going to give everyone my same advice that I give all the time. Go with the highest rated team. Find a 12-5. Find a 12. You know what? Not that I'm bragging on this at all, but I've won 3 of these in the last, 8 years. Now, a lot of people say, oh, only 3 in 8 years. Wow, whatever. It is hard to win a March Madness pool 3 times in 8 years. That is not an easy thing to do with upsets and with everything falling the way it can fall.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not the easiest. It's not easy. And I've come close every other year except once. So I will say this. There is and will, and there's always a 12-5 upset. Find the one when they come out on Sunday night, which fits you the best. There is always a 12-5 upset. The problem is you pick the wrong one, you end up screwing your bracket.
There you go.
Until you reach
and then you'll be kicking yourself when you do that.
Yep. But yeah, so that's the story. That's how it goes down. But yeah, next week it'll really be interesting to talk about how all the brackets are filled up, because next Thursday is go day.
Oh boy, it's going to be a fun ride.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
I concur.
So, going on to some more NCAA, I want to go on to football for a minute. Don't know if you've heard about the new rule that was proposed to blocking kicks for the field goal, extra point or field goal. They're wanting to outlaw to have leaping over the lineman to block these kicks. Is that a good idea or not a good idea?
Okay, if they're going to outlaw blocking kicks, then they're going to outlaw blocking kicks in terms of the man leaping over. If they want to say then that's not a rule, then, whatever. That's one thing I guess you just got to go for. If they're going to say you can't block kicks at all, then I say let's take the kicker let's just take the kicker off the field. In all honesty, let's just take him off the field and just give touchdown 7 points. Because why line up if you can't block the kick? That makes absolutely no sense. So I'm not as
giving 3 points.
Yeah, I mean the NFL has done the exact opposite. Then take the kick out to the 40-yard line. Just send the offense out. Don't even send the defense out, and let them just get a free kick from the 40-yard line if that's the case. It's asinine. This is still football.
Yeah, go out there and play football.
Look, this isn't the old days where they don't tell players what the consequences could be. Now, I know in college, because I feel that these are indentured servants anyway. You make money off the kids. You make, you do everything to make sure everyone gets paid except the kids. And then you want to turn around and realize that the place where kids get the most hurt and have these probably more lifelong situations are in college, not the pros. But then you want to turn around and tell them, we don't want you to do certain things because of what? I don't understand. But it's not for anyone to understand. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with college football. If you don't want them to block kicks, then don't put them on the field. If you don't want them to jump over the offensive line, I don't understand how that could be detrimental to someone. But if you don't want to do that, then make that the rule and be done with it. To be perfectly honest with you, out of all the sports that I absolutely love, I think football gets on my nerves the most at just about every level, especially at college where they don't think it's worth it to pay their own product. But football now, because they've lied to people for so long,